Thank you, Annie. I can see the recording has started. So once again, very warm welcome to you all to today's OMPEG member event. OMPEG stands for Overseas Maharashtrian Professionals and Entrepreneurs Group. It's the community-based business networking group founded in April 2016 by leading influencers and entrepreneurs within UK. The idea was to inculcate a spirit of entrepreneurship within the Maharashtrian community, specifically from the UK, to connect professionals and encourage them for entrepreneurship. OMPEG is a membership organization, which means people pay fees here and contribute to the growth and initiatives by OMPEG. There are over 150 fee-paying members, which include a variety of professionals and entrepreneurs, as I discussed before, and the number is growing day by day. Details regarding becoming a member will be posted in the chat window, so keep an eye if you want to connect with us for such future events. We are very proud to say that 40% of the members are women who are first-generation entrepreneurs. In the last 5 years, OMPEG organized 50 plus high-value events, including 2 mega business expos attended by more than 2,000 people. The expos were a high success. Until now, more than 5,000 people have attended OMPEG events across the UK. In 2019 and 2020, OMPEG started collaboration with High Commission of India and many other industry bodies with the idea to inspire many more Maharashtrians to do more in their professions and their businesses. The goal was also to raise the profile of UK-based Maharashtrian business leadership, and we are proud to say that OMPEG has successfully done that. While OMPEG's core work is within Maharashtrian community, OMPEG is inclusive and open to the wider community for exchange of ideas and collaboration. So as I mentioned before, definitely join us. Joining the network is free, and I will be sharing more details about that shortly. Just a few months back, we started our Midlands chapter to take advantage of a thriving region in and around Midlands. If you want to know more about OMPEG, please visit www.ompeg.org.uk. If you wish to become a member, we will put the details in the chat window. Just a minute ago, I said it's free to join OMPEG. What I mean is it's easy to join the network, and I will just give you a bit more details on that. However, like I said, it's a fee-paying organization, and we will be putting the details for that and for you to become a member on the chat window again. On a personal note, I am an architectural and interior designer running my own architecture practice for last 5 years, and I have been a fee-paying member since OMPEG's day one and have been hugely benefited being part of this OMPEG family. So I highly recommend that you become a member. Ani, if you could share the slide about my OMPEG, please. So like I mentioned, it's very easy to connect. It's free to connect within the network. And the way we do that is we have our own My OMPEG app. Please download the app so that you can connect with us. And it's available on both iOS and Android. Anyone can download, connect, and engage with the network for free. Special content privileges are available for fee-paying members. For example, there are membership directories which everybody can see, and then there is one-to-one chats that is possible if you are a member. So there are certain content privileges. However, anyone can download and connect for free and make use of the view which is for everyone and engage with everyone on the network. So that was about OMPEG. Just a quick note about what OMPEG member events are. So member events are organized by independent businesses and professionals conducted in association with OMPEG. OMPEG provides a community-based platform to encourage its members. OMPEG does not get involved into the business activities of its members or does not bear any responsibility for the business activities of its members. The event today is such a member event by both of our paid members, Madhuri and Vineet. If you wish to use their services, please contact them directly. Their details will be posted in chat window and also will be sent to you via email after the event. Now, a brief introduction about our presenters today. Madhuri Apte and Vineet Mohan. Madhuri is a passionate collaborative lawyer who works in the area of family law, immigration, children, and human rights. She is a barrister at law and has done a mediation course from Harvard Law School and runs a charity called Speak to Me Foundation. Vineet is a marketing and broadcasting professional with 30 years of experience. He started working on the subject of elderly dependence around 5 years ago, and after 100 successful cases, is dedicating most of his time towards this vocation. All the best to both of you, and over to you, Madhuri.
First of all, a warm namaste to everyone. Thank you, OMPEG, and thank you all my friends, brothers, sisters to join today for this event. And I'm under a little bit pressure because this was supposed to be a kind of event for maybe 15, 20 people who we had been having a lot of inquiries about this visa. And we just thought that I might as well, collect everyone and give them a basic introduction to this visa. Then the idea went to OMPEG, and here we are with thousands of registration. So please excuse me if I make any mistakes. And I hope everyone finds this presentation helpful for them. If at all we take time to get back to you, just bear with us. But eventually, when you contact me after this event, me and Vineet, we would try our best to get back to you as soon as possible. So let me give you a little background of this visa. Adult dependent relative. Generally, all of us who have attended or who have kind of registered for this seminar, the major query for all of them, for migrants like me, who are in the ages of now around 30 to 50 years, and their parents are around in the ages of 60 to 80 years. And they all wanted to get the parents here now that we are settled, and we want our parents to be with us. So this visa, earlier, before 2012, there was a clear-cut direction from the Home Office that for parents automatically, upon reaching of age of 65, Home Office they could apply for the visa of becoming dependent on their children, and they could come back to UK and stay permanently with them. However, after 2012, the Home Office changed their criteria. And now this category of visa is based on the discretion, on a discretion basis from the Home Office. So the major criteria, because obviously we all know that since 2010, or rather 2007, 2008, Home Office cut down on immigration very heavily. Since 2012, it was very, very heavy. Since for last 5 years, 6 years, and we have been seeing a very great cut down in the immigration. So the main criteria for this cutting down or putting a lot of restrictions on the agedly parents or dependents was mainly to cut down the numbers, because there were highly increasing flow of migrants. And we have to consider migrants not only from India or any other countries, but there were also big migrants group from the European countries. So now, if after 2002, it has become as an adult dependent relative entry clearance visa. Entry clearance visa means you cannot apply for this visa within the UK. You have to go back to your country and you have to apply from your country, for which the threshold is very, very high. It has become a very difficult, risky, and a very costly visa in that effort. Now the question is how to make a successful application. To that, there is no clear answer. But the best way is to let us get into and look into the visa. What are the criterias? What we can do best to provide or and to make our case successful. So evidence, 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 that is what we say is the best criteria to get through this visa. Let me now go to the eligibility process. So who is eligible for this visa? To understand legal terms, we all who want to call our parents or our dependents for the purposes of this seminar, I would just use dependent as in parent, but dependent could be anything. It could be uh, parent, grandparents, other adult dependents, or maybe or in the olden times there has been some aunt living with you, or maybe some disabled brother who would be living with you when you before you came to UK. So all those become dependent adults. In our practice process, we have also seen that a lot of times parents come before they have left the children back in India, and children become over the age of 18, and then they become adult dependents. So all these categories of people come into the dependent category. Dependent and applicant is the same. Now we are the sponsors. So who is the sponsors? Who is eligible to become a sponsor in this category? Any British citizen, or we all people who have become citizen by naturalization, or who is already a British citizen, a settled person. A settled person is the one who has an indefinite leave to remain visa on their visa status. There are also people who have been granted refugee status. They all could be sponsors. So we all people, British citizens, settled persons with refugee status, they all can become sponsors of people whom they want to call on this visa. Or there are dependents on them in their own countries, and they can make an application, or their dependents can make application. Now the very important part in this application is the evidence. Um, in this visa is a very high, the threshold of the evidence is very, very high. That means the Home Office, there may be application, you may fill uh, uh, all correct numbers of the application, put in all the information, but proving the dependency is a very Herculean task. It is very difficult to show how. I'm going to talk in the future slides about what kind of dependencies we are talking about, but it is very difficult to prove it on the paper. It is very easy to say the dependency could be of financial, it could be emotional, it could be even medically unfit, because dependent could be medically unfit, or they have some certain disabilities or something, or medical problems for which they are dependent on you. Earlier to this, there is also one category of people who are adults, but they are already living in the UK. Like, let's say, for example, your parents or your dependent or your relative has come into the UK, and somehow, which we always face with the cases, that they have not been able to go back to India. It could be in past, I have been having cases, someone who underwent bypass surgery, someone who underwent knee surgery, someone who could not go because there was a death in their family or the wife died. On those cases, we made visa under the discretionary leave. So for the dependents who are here in the UK at the moment, we could make visa under the category of discretionary leave. But that is clearly not a adult dependent visa. It is termed as a family visa. So in the legal process, it could be termed as an in-country application. But the very reason of mentioning this category here was that we could face with this situation, and we in the question answer, I mean, people who were inquiring uh, prior to this seminar, there were few people who mentioned, oh, my mother is here, my father is here, my parents are here, and they are unable to go back. So can we apply from here? So in this category, the answer to that is yes, you can apply you can make an in-country application. Application is difficult. In the first go, you may not get through it. It will definitely probably go to the appeal. But uh, but again, it comes to the evidence. If you put the right kind of evidence, if you put right kind of legal cases, right kind of reports, right kind of documents, then there are likely chances. And in our cases, we have been successful in each of every those cases who have applied in the past. Now we come to the actual adult dependent relative category, which most of the situation, most of us face the situation that we are here, our parents are in India or dependents are in India, and we want to get them back, get them to UK for permanent staying, for permanently to live with us. That category is called as adult dependent relative visa. It has to be, this application has to be made from India, and it cannot be made from in country. So when they make the application from India, on the very, if their application is granted, they would get the visa. They don't need to extend the visa after 5 years. When they get the visa, they will become the I mean, they have leave to remain in this country. And now coming back to, I just want to add one point here. Earlier, we had done a little bit, earlier we had done, when this category was, because this was a very difficult visa, we also used to do a category called through EU category. And that was, so people who are in here had this discretionary leave visa, or they could apply through EU category. But now that EU category is also out, we are now only left with ADR category for our parents to apply. Looking at the dependency, so now we know that the person, whoever, the parents who are dependent on us, that what they have to prove is they cannot function independently. They cannot do their life living activity on their own. They need your presence, or they need some third party's assistant to do their day-to-day activity. Or if they have not been granted visa, if they are not been living with you, they might suffer hardships in life, or their life may not be as smooth as they could be, or they could not be even not be possible to, or they could have a harsh harsh circumstances to live with, to have their own, to stay on their own. Mainly what we have found is when the parent is left alone, or they have major difficulties, major health problems. It could be heart problem, it could be lungs problem, it could be some disability, it could be heavy diabetes, because of which they cannot do their day-to-day job. Uh, the threshold is, or the criteria that Home Office is looking at, exceptional circumstances. What is their exceptional circumstances? That they cannot live on their own, and they need to come here as your dependent. To prove the dependency, there are around 4 kinds of different kind of dependency. So it could be, in our experience, it has been seen that only one particular dependency does not work. It is a mixture. It is always a mixture of many different dependency. So I have tried to put it in 4 categories mainly. And so first category is financial. that parents are financially dependent on you. So again, evidence, because evidence is the most important thing in this visa. And how do you present it? So do we have evidence of how much money you are sending, or is it a regular money that you are sending? In some cases, we have seen that parents themselves are working people. They have had pensions, they have had their own houses. So is that does that mean that they are not dependents? So answer to that is no, that does not mean they are not dependents. There can be still various other categories on which they are dependent. And then you have to look into some other categories, which could be physical category. Physical means medical, etc. So in that category, people always say, oh, we are, my parents has this problem, that problem. And probably that problem had been, say, for last 15 years or 10 years or even 2 years. And people say, okay, we have evidence. So evidence is what? They feel the medical certificate, doctor certificate, their hospitalization report. Are these the evidence? Yes, that is the evidence. But that is it is a evidence that you have ailment. But for Home Office to consider it, they need a third party evidence. Third party evidence means some expert, some some expert from the uh, uh, mm, third from the third perspective point of view, to recognize what that evidence is. Because those are what you produce, the medical reports, or maybe two suitcase files of papers that you may have on your medical illness. But they are just papers that Home Office will consider. But the most important in this category is you have to have a third party, um, uh, kind of a third party expert saying that their condition is such that they need to be dependent, or they need to be taken care of personally. They cannot manage things on their own. And in slides to come, Vineet will explain you what could that be. The third category in the broader senses is emotional. So emotional is sometimes, as I said, parents are left lonely. Some people are the only child. Some people are we as a sponsors. Sometimes our mothers have raised us alone, the only person in our life was our mother, and for her we were the only person. So they had been emotionally attached to us. Uh, that it's so emotional bonding is so much that they cannot live alone there. The only aim of their life has been now gone to England, and they are emotionally devastated. Again, the threshold for this is very, very high. um, and you have to prove to beyond doubt it. The burden of proof is on the applicant to prove that he cannot manage this on their own, and the emotional dependence is there. The social dependence is, it could be our culture, it could be our community, it could be also the social functions that um, our dependents are not able to do. Simple functions like shopping, cooking, bathing. And on the day to day basis, they are not being able to live normally. They need someone's help all the time. There are, for all these categories, probably the rest, from 2 to 4, I could say. uh, there is a I mean, people, you have to also prove to the Home Office that there is no care homes facility, or there is no third person, or there is no close relative to look after them in India, or whatever country they are applying from. This facility will not also be available in care homes. And so your parents or your dependents are in exceptional category, wherein they cannot live without you, and you are the only caretaker for them. And for this reason, probably they need to be brought to England. uh, I would now hand it over to Vineet. Vineet has been my colleague and we have been working together for many number of years. Vineet is a medical reports expert, and he will talk about the documents and the reports in this visa category. I think.
Okay. Uh, Good evening, everyone. I'll start with this slide itself. Financial. Madhuri's already talked about different dependencies. So one way is for financial is make sure you keep a track record of all the money transfers, whether it's to Western Union or MoneyGrams or it's through your bank direct transfers. There can also be situations where, for example, the parents may not be able to afford a property in your home country, and you bought them a flat to live in. That is financial dependency. Anyway, that is for Madhuri to work with you on. Physical. Beyond the age of human body begins to deteriorate beyond the age of 60, 65. Typically arthritis, especially for people coming from the South Asian backgrounds, arthritis is a major issue. But apart from that, there are issues such as um, um, cardiac or diabetes or motor neuron diseases. But there are, I mean, there is not limited to this, but yes, physical challenges begin to come in the way of your independent functioning. These need to be evidenced. For that, I will talk about how to do that evidence later on. Emotional, Madhuri has already talked about the loneliness, depression, memory fading, memory dementia typically. Again, dementia is a very, very severe, typically it's, if you, in my talks with the different doctors, a typical sign of fading memory or dementia is parents, you will notice, tend to forget more recent events. However, the older events are easily recalled. It's a typical, though not a definitive answer, but yes, if you do see such signs, you ought to go and get your parents seen by a psychiatrist. Depression, again, I've come across so many cases where one or two or three children, all of them move to UK. They're working with the NHS. Typically, if one comes, the other younger, all the other siblings typically tend to follow. The parents are just left back home, and their only interaction with their own children and their own grandchildren is over Skype and over different kinds of telephone calls. It's not enough. They are lonely. They want to be with their parents, with their children, sorry. They may not say it, but again, it would be a good idea to have themselves, or have your parents checked by a psychiatrist for those issues. Social, cooking, shopping, bathing. I'll give you another example, especially for people from bigger cities such as Bombay. A parent living on the 15th floor or the 12th floor of a high-rise building, and the power keeps breaking down. You may have bought them a flat, but walking up and down those stairs, or trying to go to the local shops, begins to become a challenge, especially if no other children are there to support. But this is just an example. But it could be anything, especially, for example, who's a parent who's got a motor neuron disease, they cannot even function. Uh, they can't even operate a telephone, for example. So they need constant care. These are the social factors. Evidence. How do you prove your dependence? Of course, we you have so they have to be. We have to provide them with. We have to provide the Home Office with medical reports. These medical reports are typically prepared by NHS consultants. There is a catch-22 here, where Madhuri has mentioned that the application has to be made from home country for an ADR category per se. However, if you're applying under the uh,
Description.
discretionary base on a discretionary basis, then yes, the parents, I'm assuming, would be here. and these medical reports have to be provided. Madhuri has mentioned about the medical report, the need for the evidence, and the evidence has to be prepared in a such a way that the courts and the Home Office understand, comprehend, and recognize. Uh, these are there are so as Madhu you said, you can provide suitcases and suitcases of MRIs and scans and prescriptions and etc. And you may say, look, I've got so much evidence. However, all that means nothing to a layperson or a judge or who understands English. So these documents, so the first point is source the medical records from your home country, MRI scans. These will become the foundation for the local NHS GPs for them to pick up and translate it into a more legible report. Uh, these reports are, as I said, as was already mentioned, they are prepared by the NHS consultants. Home Office uh, or the legal system may not be very happy to consider just the reports provided by the medical fraternity from India or Pakistan or Nigeria or wherever your parents may be coming from, simply because there is a trust element and there is a format. There's a the Madhuri mentioned something about a third party. The third party is your NHS or a UK qualified UK body doctor. Why and how many reports are required? Typically, in my experience has been you have to provide a GP report that covers your general health well-being. Your psychiatric report. A psychiatric report typically talks about the loneliness, depression, memory. Most people tend to most of the people that we've come across are in the age groups of 70 plus, and these elements of mental health do begin to creep in. Uh, Third is a social worker's report. The social worker basically picks up the previous reports and forms an opinion around physical and mental health challenges and the social circumstances. And social could also be, as I said, social slash financial challenges, and puts together the whole story in a more comprehensive manner. Besides these three reports, another specialist report, depending upon the medical condition, again, could be a neurologist, could be an orthopedic, could be a cancer specialist, etc. The the each report, each case in itself is very very unique. It is very how do I explain it? Each individual circumstances are going to be different. We'll have people whose parents are 60, people who are 70, people who are 80s, people who have one child, who have three children, one of the children has passed away. There are so many permutations and combinations that can be worked out. So each of these have to be talked about. Other supporting material. These could be your employer's letters. Get a letter from, say for example, if you're a doctor, general medical council's supporting letter, the partnership, the NHS Health Trust that you're working with, get their supporting letters. These help. Your social engagement. These could be, maybe you're doing a run, a charity. You're doing a London Marathon for a particular charity. Get them to give you a supportive letter. You may be working with a temple, a mosque, a gurdwara, a church. Could be any of these. These are all social engagement. And if you are doing any sort of good, maybe people at this point of time are getting involved with COVID relief for India. So get endorsements for those sort of things. Achievements. These could be, I do know of people who've got patents in their name. So people come from India and they've got patents in their name. Why not present those to uh, add credibility to the applicant, not the applicant, there's a sponsor to say that, yes, I can support my parents, citations, people who got honors, MBEs, CBEs, get them all. Local MP. The MPs in this country are very, very helpful. Engage with them, ask them, present to them your situation, your circumstances, ask them for a letter of support. And uh, I'm yet to come across an MP who has not been supportive. Home country support letters, I don't know, maybe you have some achievements back home that you may talk about, may want to present, and that add value to the sponsor's claims. I think those sort of things too should be brought in. One point I'd like to mention, COVID-19 is not enough reason to apply. Yes, I understand it may be a reason that may have accelerated other conditions, but in itself, to say that because there is COVID-19 in India and I don't want to send my parents back, that will not fly. But you have to have any of the previous ones that I've talked about. You should be able to, from there on, elaborate further and provide evidence for those. Costs, typically, the elements that will, it's not a cheap process. It costs quite a bit. There is the home office application fees, the international health surcharge, solicitors fees, medical legal reports, barristers fees. Approximate budget, give or take about £15,000 for a. This is just a budget. This is a ballpark figure. This will be very variable, but a single parent, give or take, about £15,000. Both parents about £18,000. The reason for that is the incremental cost is relatively low because you're only you will only be applying on the basis of one parent typically, but if you may be applying for two parents as well, that 18,000 figure may well even hit £30,000. But yeah, these are the sort of budgets that we normally sort of come across. Other than that, length of time, this is what Madhuri is going to take over, and she will present what her views are on how long this whole process will last. Over to you, Madhuri.
Thank you.
You're on.
I think we need to explain. Um, Thank you, Vinod. Thank you, Vineet. I think you explained it so nicely about the medical conditions and things. So by now it was a little glimpse to understand that each case is different. Two people with a heart condition have different sub-heart conditions, and to why their dependency is on the sponsor is a very different process, which caseworker has to individually take instructions from. Probably when we talk for an hour and then we understand, oh, this is something which we can put in the application because this is something which is exceptional. So again, because the threshold of this application is so high that we have to take extensive instructions from the client to make and process your case. Second important thing I missed in my previous point is what is the eligibility of sponsor to provide to sponsor the applicant or the dependent. The sponsor should have enough. First of all, he would not be able to claim. He himself is not claiming benefits, and at the same time, for the first 5 years, he will not be able to claim anything for the parent. No pension, nothing. No other public benefits other than NHS registration or something. Then they should have enough accommodation facilities with them. They should have enough monetary facilities with them to provide for their dependents. So coming on now again back to the end of this small presentation, it is the process and length of time. We always suggest people that at least you should give at least 3 to 4 months to prepare this application, because once we take instructions from you, your circumstances, your with the once we go through your medical reports, and then we come to know that how we have to present your case to make it into a exceptional circumstances case, which takes accordingly. Then we instruct medical experts or maybe other experts who are in social who create social kind of psychological reports, social reports. So it takes time, and the reports also have their own validity. So we preferably always say when parents and sponsor are ready, at least give a 3-4 months gap, because it is not something which you decide today and tomorrow we apply. The post application is after the application, it takes around 3 to 6 months to for Home Office to process this application. There are very, very high chances that in the first go visa may not be, because, and that is why we always tell applicant not to hurry, give us a good time to prepare your case, because we don't want any rejection in the first place. But they are common, they are normal, and a lot of the applications go to the first tier, that is to the court, to the first tier tribunal, that is the first stage of court. And if not, if they still don't go through, then they go into the upper tribunal, that is the further court of appeal. It is again getting a case registered or getting a case heard in the court is again time consuming process, which is around 4 to 8 months, depends on what the date of or what period of time we are in the year, or what is their caseload or something. So in short, this is not the visa which should be actually prepared. It is not something that you see the application, fill the details, give your medical evidence, as in that you whatever your medical reports or whatever you say that I'm old, I can't walk, I can't do this. This is not the application. Whether it is when you decide, it is my earnest request to every applicant that please take advice of the, first of all, this facility is available, because when I talk to people, a lot of people even didn't know that such kind of visa is available. And the very reason for this seminar was to make people aware that such kind of visa is available. However, it is difficult, but it is doable. It is not impossible. So take when you are, if you are making application, please take the help of a solicitor. It doesn't have to be us. It could be any in your local area or anyone whom you trust. But because if you take help of a solicitor, it will not jeopardize the opportunity of your applicant to make the visa. Because if it is refused, then their visa, their chances of getting future only visitor visa is also compromised. So make a successful application, or at least make a well-informed application. Why don't you hear about this from other solicitors? Why are not this visa talked about? It is because it is for the same reason, because it is not an easy visa. Solicitors and the caseworkers have to put a lot of efforts on this. And ultimately, it may not be in one go, it may not be a successful case. So no, and the amount of costs involved in it. So we don't hear about this visa as often as solicitors put big hoardings of visitor visa, entrepreneur visa, or maybe point-based visa, family visas. So this was our humble and short effort of introducing you to this visa. We will take the questions now. And thank you so much for your 1 hour in your life.
Madhuri, I am going to jump straight on to the questions. What I've tried to do is I've tried to group these questions under specific headings, just for the benefit of all.
Can the screen share be stopped? Sorry, Reshma. Can the screen share be stopped? Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. I went straight into the questions, and this is a big hello from me. My name is Reshma. I am one of the core volunteers of the OMPEG core team. I'm going to be I was looking at all the questions that were popping up on the chat. What we are going to do is, I don't think we have the time to go in for every individual scenario. So what I've done is I've just put certain categories and grouped some of the questions which I thought were going to be quite generalized, in the sense a lot of people will want to have that information. So I'm going to go straight into that. Madhuri, one of the first categories, it was a lot to do in terms of the actual visa. One of the questions was, is indefinite leave granted when the ADR gets through? Another question that kept coming up was, if this dependency visa gets rejected, does it affect future visitor visa applications? The third related question to this was, when the application is done from India, can the parents travel during that time, or do they need to stay in India till the whole process is completed? And another one related to the whole visa category. If one parent is Indian and the other parent is OCI, can they both apply from India?
Yeah, you can.
So yeah, in a nutshell, these were some of the common questions under the category of visa.
Okay. Reshma, let's start with the first one. Let's go one by one. Let's start with the first one. First question was?
Okay. The first was, if the ADR gets through, do the parents get a permanent leave to remain?
Yes. So what I understand, they get a limited leave to remain, which is 2.5 years, renewable every 2.5 years, up to 10 years, thereafter they get the ILR. So it is a residency permit. It is so for all technical purposes. For example, if they can open the bank accounts here, and they can register with the local council. They can buy property. So they are residents. Yes, that's what it means.
All right. Thank you, Vineet. The second one in that category was, if this dependency visa gets rejected, does it affect future visitor visa applications?
Yes. So it depends upon where you've applied from. So if assuming if you applied from India, yes, the visa. So basically, the moment you made an application, you have gone off the visitor visa route, so to speak. So we're talking about making an application to remain here permanently, which means if you applied from India, you have to wait till the outcome is in your favor or not. Yes, if the outcome is not in your favor, then the Home Office will not be inclined to give you a visitor visa. This is what I would say. Alternately, if you are making an application from the home country, UK, oh sorry, not home country, from UK, then exactly the same thing. Then they are stuck in this country. This goes on to your another question: can they travel? No, they cannot until the decision has been reached, which could be the entire process, the right up to the end, which means you made an application, you've been rejected, you go in for an appeal, you lose, you go in for an upper tribunal, and then thereafter you win, which may probably last 18 months or thereabouts, or probably even 2 years, could be any time. Madhuri wants to add something to that, please.
Oh, no.
No? So should I go on to the next question?
Okay, all right. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yes, please.
I think the next question, it was a little more technical, but since I'd mentioned it, it was, if one parent is Indian and the other parent is OCI, can they both apply from India? Or does OCI parent need to apply from their country separately?
I did. Is it mute? Okay. I didn't quite understand what the OCI means. I mean, OCI as in they are already British citizen. Is that so?
That's exactly how the questions popped up.
Okay. I don't understand, but if the person is in India, and then if the person has to apply from India, then it is India. And if a person has OCI, that means person is already a citizen of some other country. So I don't know what they would apply for visa for.
Okay. All right. And there's another category that's come up, and this is a question that has been asked by a lot of people. And this is about the third-party verification for physical health validation. So the general question was, who are these third parties? Any doctors on UK Gov panel? Or please, can you tell us more?
Yes. So these doctors, so we have doctors. So essentially, what I personally do is I run a medical legal firm. So we have doctors on our panel. We have GPs, psychiatrists, social workers. We have orthopedics, neurologists. They're all on our panel. We take the medical records from our clients, people who are currently on for watching this video. We provide these medical raw records to our doctors, who will then make it into a comprehensive, a more comprehensible medico-legal report, and that becomes the expert witness. These doctors are called expert witnesses. They're all NHS consultants. They do this on a part-time basis. They do it on maybe over the weekends, at other times. The rule in UK is a treating doctor cannot provide a medical legal report, and a doctor that has provided a medical legal report cannot provide treatment. So there's a conflict of interest. This is just to ensure that there is no conflict of interest here, and nothing else. So these doctors, all our doctors are predominantly, most of our doctors are of Indian or Pakistani origin. We prefer to use such doctors mainly because they understand that there is a linguist. They are able to break down the linguistic barriers. They also understand the cultural context in terms of why this particular applicant is making that application. It helps, not that it influences their medical opinion, but it helps to understand the background a little better. Nothing else.
Thank you, Vineet. In the brevity of time, I'm just going to take one more question before we go towards the closure. And this question is about the cost involved. So you mentioned circa £15,000. And the question was, over what period of time will this money have to be spent? Is there a breakdown, stages, or time division?
Okay, most of these costs are all upfront. So there's a home office fee. This is upfront. The medical legal reports. So if the first 4 months that you spend in preparing your application that Madhuri talked about, all this is going. The medical legal reports are being spent on. That money is going out in at that point of time. The solicitors that you've engaged, you've obviously paid their fees. The home office fee, which in itself is about £2,500, including the IHS. If you're applying from the home country, that is, I think, £3,000 plus or something like that. So £3,000 or £4,000. These are all these money, all this entire amount has to be provided for upfront, because at least in the first 4 months. The only other fees that you probably end up paying at a later stage would be the barrister's fees, when you need to engage a barrister to present your case in front of a judge, which would be 6-8 months, 10 months down the line, whenever you get an opportunity to be in front of the judge. Barrister's fees typically would be in the region of £2,000 to £5,000, depending upon what seniority of the barrister is. I think Madhuri.
The home office fee in from India, it is 3,250. The IHS fee is, I think, around 1,000 or 1,500. 1,500. And I would like to correct one thing. If you get ADR from out of country, that is entry clearance, then it's a lifetime visa. You don't have to apply again and again if it is a application from the home country. Because we are only talking about this ADR application. But the other category that Vineet was actually confusing, probably, it was when the dependent parent is here and they make application from here. And going back to your previous question, because I feel the OCI person must be a British citizen, probably, and their dependent or whatever wife or partner would be here in India, and probably they were wanting to make application. That is what I correlate with the question. So we can take the next one now.
No, thank you, Madhuri, and thank you, Vineet. I think we'll have to stop taking any further questions. Like I said, I'm keeping an eye on the clock here. I'm just going to hand over the session to you because you wanted to say something towards the end of the question answer session before it comes back to me for closure.
To me?
Yes, to you.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you. I don't know how did it go, but the main my last word in this area is, it is a very case sensitive application. Each case is different. Each case needs to be analyzed by the legal expert differently. The cases and you have to actually create a application for home office to get it accepted, because it is a very, very difficult, and it is very easy to say give this, give that, but it is a very difficult application to make, and it is not that easy to to successfully make this application. There is no simple way to it. The next important thing that I have to say is thank you all of you. Thank you all the attendees for having our attention and for giving your time to us. And we hope to hear from you We may not have covered everything that everyone wants to listen, but we are open to hear you again.
Thank you so much, Madhuri. And on behalf of OMPEG and all OMPEG members and everybody attending the seminar here today, thank you so much to you and Vineet for answering the audience questions, and importantly, for explaining a topic that is so close to a lot of people's heart. The event was registered by unprecedented numbers, and OMPEG wishes to thank all those who registered and attended this event. As we have already explained, a recorded version of this webinar will be made available in a week's time on OMPEG's YouTube channel. So if you have missed anything in this conversation, or you may have missed some parts of it, you would like to go back to it, this will be available on OMPEG's YouTube channel in a week's time. There's one very quick note that OMPEG would like to make here. OMPEG is a community-based platform that encourages entrepreneurship and professional growth. OMPEG does not get involved into any business activities of its members, nor does it bear any responsibility for business activities of its members. All member events, like the event today, are presented by independent businesses or professionals. And if you wish to, you are advised to please contact them independently. The details of today's presenters have been posted in the chat window and will be sent to you via email after the event. If anyone in the audience would like to host a similar event in association with OMPEG, please get in touch with us. Our contact details have been posted on the chat. We've been doing it through the presentation. Don't forget to download the My OMPEG app. Whether you are on Android or Apple, you can download it from your respective stores. This way, you can stay in touch with a wide number of businesses and professionals and get to know firsthand about exciting launches, thought-provoking conversations, business ideas, investment opportunities. Just simply network. The list is endless. A quick recap on OMPEG. OMPEG is Overseas Maharashtrian Professionals and Entrepreneurs Group. You don't need to be Marathi speaking to join this vibrant community. Your association and affiliation with any village or city within Maharashtra will suffice. Alternatively, if you're from any part of India, but you just want to have a networking relationship with the OMPEG members, you are free to become a member as well. Founded in April 2016 to promote entrepreneurship and offer networking, connect professionals, and encourage them to explore the options of entrepreneurship within the area of work, OMPEG is a membership organization with over 150 fee-paying members, including a variety of professionals and entrepreneurs. We are very proud to say that 40% of members are women first-generation entrepreneurs, and in the last 5 years, OMPEG has organized more than 40 high-value events. And until now, more than 5,000 people have attended OMPEG events across the UK. Details regarding becoming an OMPEG member have also been posted in the chat window. You can simply visit our website, www.ompeg.org.uk, to get any further information about OMPEG, or also becoming a member directly from the website. Of course, don't forget to download the My OMPEG app. Before we close the session today, here is more information about our next event. That's happening on 15th of May at 4 p.m. The OMPEG Midlands Regional Chapter will host a member event, details of which are up on your screen right now. It's going to be a masterclass on insights into the trading world. So information about Forex, high frequency Forex, and crypto trading is what is going to be shared in this particular event. Pranauti Patil Zadhav, who is the director of Antigraphics Productions Limited UK, will bring this masterclass to you. Attend this to understand Forex trading insights, what, why, and how, everything to do with Forex. The poster, as I said, is up on the screen. And on that note, I will ask permission to end today's session. We will see you again on the 15th of May. Until then, have a lovely evening. Have a lovely weekend ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Just a quick note, Ani, if you can stop recording and save the chat log, please.